Hi, good morning, and welcome to Chronicles of a Media Marketer. That's me. I'm Sandra Carlisle. I'm a certified AI specialist, a social media marketer, artist, and your host. So, have you ever found yourself second guessing who your marketing is really for? Well, you're not alone. Today's video is about the common pitfalls in target audience identification. And trust me, even experienced marketers can fall into these traps. From casting too wide a net and trying to appeal to everyone, to relying on outdated assumptions or skipping research altogether. These mistakes can drain your budget and leave your campaigns flat. I'll break down the most frequent errors and share real-world examples and give you practical tips to help you define and reach your ideal audience with confidence. So, if you want to avoid wasting resources and start connecting with the people who matter most to your brand, stick around as we dive into the do's and don'ts of target audience identification. Okay, so here are the most common mistakes. 1, your targeting is too broad. Trying to appeal to everyone leads to generic messaging that resonates with no one and wastes resources. Effective targeting requires focusing on specific, well-defined segments rather than large, amorphous groups. The second one is lack of clear audience understanding, failing to conduct thorough market research or define detailed customer personas results in campaigns that miss the mark and do not address the customer's real needs. And if you're not addressing their needs, it's not going to have any interest. Number 3, ignoring data and segmentation. Relying on assumptions, outdated demographic targeting, like just age and gender, or not using data-driven insights can lead to ineffective targeting and, more importantly, missed opportunity to connect with your real audience. Now, I'm just going to add a little side note here. When I first was building my business, I thought everyone would be interested. And that's not the case. Some people couldn't afford to hire a media marketer. Their companies were too young, or they thought they could do it on their own and do a great job. And they just weren't my clients. By going out and going to business groups and meeting business owners, because again, I'm a B2B company, I kind of realized that my best clients are people within the trades because they know what they know and they're very good at what they do. But they also are very realistic about what they don't know and what they need help with. I understand that. I understand their businesses. I actually had been married to a construction executive, so I kind of get it. And it just is a good fit. So when you're looking for your audience, sometimes going out into the real world and doing real investigation and networking and finding out is going to save you more time than just researching on the internet. Okay, number 4 is not prioritizing. or overlooking underserved segments, chasing the largest, most obvious group, which for me was the financial sector, because I had been in the financial industry for over 20 years and still have the designations to prove all the years I spent there, which wasn't a mistake. I certainly learned a lot about people and what was important to them, and uh, you know, what made people, make a decision as opposed to walking away. I mean, there was value, but I'm certainly happier based on my art and who I really am and my authenticity, as I'm happier as a media marketer. But obviously, the financial sector was my first thought that that would be the perfect place for my business to grow. But I was not correct in that. So, you know, again, don't always go after the obvious. Also, often competing in crowded spaces while ignoring the underserved segments that may offer better opportunities for growth for your business and theirs. At this point, I see my business as I'm building my business as I'm building my clients' businesses. Because once I've created someone's WordPress site and their branding, no one else is going to understand them better than I am, because I already did all the research and all the work, and we've built a relationship. Don't always go after the obvious. Find your people. And 5, inconsistent and irrelevant messaging. Failing to tailor your message to your target audience is just a waste. You need to have messaging to their specific needs and their preferences, because that's your target. It's just plain and simple. You have to talk to your people. Another mistake is to evaluate your campaigns through the brand's perspective, not the customer's perspective. This can reduce impact and relevance. You had to look at the analytics of the campaign and find the audience that campaign resonated with, and then multiply that. What worked with that audience before will probably work with that audience again. So do it again. So avoid these pitfalls. Just avoid them and focus on clear, data-driven audience segmentation and relevant, authentic messaging. This will help your brand connect more effectively and achieve better marketing results. I want to give you some pro tips on this one. So what you want to do is check out your Facebook audience insights. Maybe use SEMrush, which is a paid marketing toolkit that offers omni-channel insights. So you can use this with your website. SEMrush will also give you competitor data, so you can see what markets your competitors are in and maybe avoid those markets. Go find another market that you can stand out in. There's also SimilarWeb, which provides audience behavior and demographic insights across websites and apps. You also have SurveyMonkey, which is useful in gathering direct audience feedback and behavioral data through surveys, which enables you to build a more detailed audience profile. Another one is UScan, which is a social media analysis tool that again offers the demographics, interest, occupational data across multiple social platforms. HubSpot Analytics, which tracks customers' journeys and campaign performances. And then Google Trends, because most everyone is hanging out on YouTube or some form of Google. So why not use Google Trends to help you find your audience? It's a free tool to spot emerging market trends and changes in search behavior. Useful for understanding your audience, their interest, and maybe how that interest has changed over time. Let me just wrap this up. Start with free tools like Google. That's a no-brainer. And Facebook audience. Then you can use the paid platforms like SEMrush or SimilarWeb or UScan for deeper insight. Or you can hire a media marketer to do all this for you. And then, if you're looking for your analytics on your email, the HubSpot will give you that information as well. So we have the technology. You might as well rely on it because it is very helpful. Again, I'm Sandra Carlisle, Chronicles of a Media Marketer. If you have any questions or want to add any information, please comment below, reach out. It's really great to try to build a community here, so I'm open to that. And thank you again for listening. See you again soon.